We've come to help you. Are they really forcing you to work these mines?
That's right.
The shield bearers asked us to rescue you and your friends.
The shield bearers? But I'll be in trouble if the guards catch me slacking off.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. How many?
There are 20 of us on duty right now. No, make that—
Thank you. You go and hide in that shed with the others, okay?
Got it.
Hey, what are you doing in here?
That means there's 16 left. The shield bearers asked us to come and rescue you.
Okay, thank you.
Only 14 more to fight. The shield bearers asked us.
So we don't have to work anymore?
We have to find 12 more. The shield bearers.
Thanks.
All right, just 10 to go. The shield bearers asked us.
Thanks.
8 more and we're the shield bearer.
Thanks.
Think you're ready?
We've got to find the shield bearers at.
Thanks.
Okay, now there's the shield bearer.
Thanks.
Just 2 more! The shield bearers asked us.
Thanks.
Let's start the show!
Great! Now let's get out of here! Don't worry. We've taken care of all the guards. The shield bearers will be here to take you to safety soon.
Thanks, but what about Eggle, the new boy? He was taken to the sword bearer's stronghold this morning. We haven't seen him since.
Why was he taken away?
Eggle said something about finding a passage leading out of the mine. He slipped away from his post and was headed there. So he must have been caught. Please, you have to help Eggle.
Okay, the sword bearer's stronghold, right? I'll go.
Thank you. The sword bearer's stronghold is a place called Stark.
Wait, Tiz. We should leave this to the shield bearers. It would be reckless.
But I have to help him.
You've been acting stubborn ever since we got here, it seems.
I have to help him. No matter what.
What is that place? A sight to behold, that's for sure. This is where the Civil War started, right?
Look, there's a transport ship tied up at the moorings. It looks like they're pooling their weapons and ammunition here.
How are we going to get in?
We'll go right in the front door.
Don't be absurd! They'll be upon us in seconds!
So be it. Our top priority is rescuing the boy Eggle.
Where could they be holding the boy prisoner?
We'll have to search the place from top to bottom.
Let's not be rash, Tiz. Rushing around blindly will only wear us out. Why don't we see if my journal has any leads?
You can't expect it to have every little detail.
Hold on. I've found something. Notes on the layout of occupied Stark Fort. I guess I can expect every little detail, Idea. The notes show a war room to the north of here. The west is marked Poison. That just leaves east. Let's head that way.
Hey! There he is!
Who are...
You're safe now. We'll get you out of here. So you're Egil, huh?
That's right. Who are you?
We've come to help you.
Really? I was going to see the fire vestal. What was that about the fire vestal?
Let's talk later. We have to get him to safety.
Here at last! That was a risky move, but we made it back all right.
Here, here. It's not like 'tis to go out on a limb like that. But we survived.
The Vestal. He must be exhausted. You did well to carry him on your back all this way, Tiz. You must be tired too.
I'm fine.
More importantly, this boy may know of a way into the Temple of Fire. We should ask him now. Don't you agree, Agnes?
I do, if that is true.
First, let's head to Commander Goodman's residence and give the boy a chance to rest.
Eagle, you're alive!
Do you...
His parents were part of our household guard. They lost their lives 3 years ago protecting. We hadn't heard from Eagle since then. To think that he had been forced to work in the
Mrs. Goodman, could we ask you to look after Eagle? We can't take him with us where we're going.
Yes, of course.
He's awake! Where am I? I have to hurry.
Hurry... where?
The Fire Vestal asked me to help. I have to...
Wait, Eagle! Eagle.
Thank you for rescuing me, but I have to go back to the mithril mine.
Weaver captured the mine from the sword bearers. You don't have to work there anymore.
I still have to go back.
Go back where?
Does this have something to do with the fire vestal, Eggle?
That's right.
Did you meet her?
No, I've never met her before, but I sometimes see her in my dreams. I really do. She always seems sad and tells me, go to the deepest tunnel.
The wind? The deepest tunnel? Does it lead somewhere?
Yes.
She is the wind vestal.
What? That means...
This tunnel may lead into the Temple of Fire. Even in death, it seems the fire vestal is trying to fulfill her duty through Eggle's dreams. I must see this done. I must. Eggle, show me the way to this tunnel.
Got it! Leave it to me!
Wait! Eagle's in no state to go anywhere.
Hey!
Why do you object, Tiz?
Because it's dangerous.
Tiz,
How is Eagle?
he's asleep at last. Idea is with him now. Agnes and Eri are in a huff.
We couldn't let Eagle take them into the mine. It's too dangerous.
You know, ever since we found Eggle, you've stopped having your nightmares, Tiz.
Huh? Really? I'll leave Eagle in your capable hands.
Understood. Be careful out there.
Where is Eggle now?
He's holed up in his room. He won't let anyone in.
We can't take him with us.
No matter. I've questioned him thoroughly about the location of this passageway.
Let's set out then.
Eggle?
What are you doing here? We specifically told you not to follow us! Are you listening to me, Egil?
But I'm the only one who knows how to open up the way through.
What?
You have to squeeze into a really tight hole to open. You'd never be able to fit. Not in a million years.
You said nothing about this back at the house.
I didn't trick you. I just left that part out.
It's the same thing. Anyway, I'm small enough to...
But you're too tiny to move the stone lever that opens the passage.
What stone lever? You didn't say anything about that.
Nope, I didn't.
Well, we'll have to take Eggle with us now. That's the only way to away.
We can't do that! What if...
No need to yell at Anya's, Tiz. What are you so upset about?
What do you propose then, Tiz? Will you make him go back by himself?
I wouldn't do that.
What if the sword bearers or black blades beat us to the temple? Eggle was just attacked by the enemy, right? He was held prisoner by them. They may already be aware of this passage you found.
But...
I believe we should focus on the task of awakening the crystal.
Exactly! To cleanse the darkness from this world, we must accept some risk and some sacrifices.
Never! What are you saying, Eri? I don't want anyone to be sacrificed!
What then? You have been impossible lately, Tiz. You are trampling upon the will of Eggle, the late Fire Vestal, and me. As a Vestal, I cannot let you do this. Do not interfere with my mission.
Hey, both of you need to calm down.
He reminds me of my little brother who died.
What?
When that chasm opened up, and Norende was swallowed, my little brother, about the same age as Egil. He fell along with it. Right before I couldn't save him. The look on his face as he stared back at me and fell into that black pit. The same goes for the water Vestal. It was agony. Watching her life, I couldn't bear to watch Agnes cling to her and weep. I've seen enough death to last a lifetime. That's why I don't want to lead Egil into peril, even if it...
Then why don't you try to stop Agnes from facing danger, Tiz?
Because I know that no matter what, Agnes would just go off on her own. And I promised Agnes that I'd stay at her side, to be there, to protect her.
Tiz.
Well, there's your answer.
Huh? What do you mean?
We'll go together with Eggle. Right?
Please, let me go. I want to see the fire vessel's wishes carried out.
You win. But you're not to go wandering off with...
Got it. Thanks.
Huh? What?
Never mind. It's nothing. Let's move on.
Be careful.
I will. I know this place like the back of my...
What?
A big piece of mithril ore!
This isn't the time for that, Egil. You've got to stay with me, okay?
Oh, come on! Finding this can mean the difference between eating or not, you know. It's a precious find.
Let it go, Egil. The war will be over soon. Then you won't have to worry about finding mithril anymore.
Wow! Now that I look at it more closely, I think this is orichalcum. Amazing! When we find some of this, we get eggs with our dinner. It's my lucky day!
Oh.
We're here! This is the place! There's a stone lever at the back of this narrow hole.
He wasn't kidding. Only Egil or Eri could fit down there.
Okay? Here. It opened! See?
Whoa! I felt a blast of... The Temple of Fire must be down here.
This cave is the same as the one from my dreams. The fire vestal told me the way to go. The Temple of Fire is...
Great! Way to go, Egil!
I only know because the fire vestal told me. It's not... I bet you're glad you brought me though, right?
Yes, yes. Are you getting tired, Egel?
Yeah, it's...
Let's take a little break then.
Oh,
Hey, Egel, isn't there anything you're
I'd like to go to military academy. Then I want to be a guardsman. My mother and father died noble deaths protecting the top shield bearer. The soldiers of the shield bearers served to protect the fire vestal. I want to shield people, like my mother and father did.
Is that so?
But I guess I need to find a place to live before that. I have no home. After my mother and father died, my grandfather took... He was really kind. But I had nowhere to go. And then I ran into some sword bearers who were rounding up orphans.
I see. You've done well to survive on your own.
I guess...
Are you thirsty, Egel?
Yeah. I have to keep my promise to the fire vestal. I don't want to run out of steam before then.
You hold the fire vestal dear, don't you, Egel? Your faith in crystalism is strong for such a young boy.
Well, my mother and father were followers. The teachings of crystalism are a bit over my head.
Then why do you brave such perils?
Because I made the fire vestal a promise. That she always looked so sad in my dreams.
Oh.
I've seen this place before. We're almost at the Temple of...
I wonder if that crevice leads into the temple.
The earthquakes are getting stronger. Watch, if you die here, Agnes, the world's last hope will perish with you.
I know.
It's shaking!
The ground's collapsing under us! Run!
Oh no!
I'll get him!
Hang in there! We'll get you up!
Let me help too. No! It's too dangerous!
Eri!
I already told you, the world is doomed if you die here. Your life belongs to more than just you now. I know it's hard, but stay focused on your mission.
Tiz!
Ego! Tim!
I'll toss Eagle over to you!
I'm not going to let...
But we could both end up falling!
Except... Agnes!
Tiz! We did it!
I cannot believe you would do such a crazy thing! You can thank your lucky stars you survived. One wrong step, and you all would have been toast! That goes double for you, Agnes! Have you forgotten you are a Christ? Hey! Are you even listening to me?
Yeah.
I could say the same of you.
Huh?
We all said we'd help Egil, and yet you leapt in alone. What are you laughing for?
It's just... Your face is covered.
What? And where exactly did you think you were going, Agnes? That was a shock. You picked a bad time to show you have no sense of direction.
The way Agnes caught both of you with those spindly arms of hers is a story I'll pass. I didn't know you had it in you, Agnes. I've got eyes like a hawk, yet you kept it hidden all this.
It was just the adrenaline. I surprised.
So you acted without thinking whether you could pull it off?
I'm just glad we're all...
Tiz, I'm so sorry for saying such terrible... Will you still stay at my...
Of course!
Oh, not you.
He took my line.
Enough giggling! We have to hurry to the Temple of Fire! Come on!
Let's end this quick!